Have you ever jumped into a lake on a hot summer afternoon? Or maybe you've gulped down a glass of ice water when you were thirsty. This morning, perhaps, you took a shower before coming to school. And you probably wet your toothbrush before brushing your teeth. If you've done any of these things, you've used water. Water is vital to the survival of living things. We need to drink water to live, and most everything we eat depends on water. In fact, about 60% of our body is made up of water. Where does water come from? What forms does it take? And how does it change form? During the next few minutes, we're going to explore these questions and others as we discuss the water cycle. It's hard to imagine a world without water. There wouldn't be any oceans, no rain, no snow, and no clouds. And there wouldn't be any lakes, rivers, or streams. In fact, life as we know it wouldn't exist without water. We use water to wash, cook, drink, and even to flush the toilet. Beyond using water in our homes, water is used in industries to make products. It's used in agriculture to wash animals and to provide them with drinking water. You observe. How is water being used in this field? In this case, water is being used to irrigate crops. Water also plays a key role in keeping cities and neighborhoods clean. And think of all the recreational opportunities that water provides, like swimming, boating, fishing, and skating. So as you can see, water is a very important substance that we really couldn't live without. This single drop of water might be thousands of years old. It may have been pumped from deep underground, where it's been trapped for the past 5,000 years. Before that, it may have once been a drop in an ancient sea. Later, it may have existed as an ice crystal in a glacier, or been part of a cloud high in the sky. How does water change from one form to another? The answer lies in something called the water cycle. The water cycle is the continual movement of water from sources of liquid water to the air and then back to Earth. The water cycle is going on constantly all around us, even though we may not realize it. There are three very important processes at work in the water cycle: evaporation, condensation, and precipitation. Let's take a closer look at the water cycle and see just how water changes from one form to another. You predict. What would happen if we left this glass of water on this windowsill for 10 days? As you can see, over time, the water gradually disappeared. Where'd the water go? It went into the air, changing from a liquid to a gas. We call this a phase change. On Earth, water can exist in three different phases: as a solid, a liquid, or a gas. A phase change involves matter changing from one phase to another. Ice melting into liquid water is a phase change. Remember the glass of water left on the windowsill? Well, in that case, liquid water changed into a gas referred to as water vapor. That change was caused by a process called evaporation. Evaporation is occurring all the time off the surfaces of lakes, streams, oceans, rivers, swimming pools, and even mud puddles. Evaporation even occurs off the surface of your skin when you sweat or when you come out of the water after swimming. Evaporation is one of the main ways that water vapor gets into the air. Plants also give off large amounts of water vapor in a process called transpiration. A single large tree, for example, can consume about 1,800 liters of water a day, and a large amount of this is then emitted into the air as water vapor. Animals also emit water vapor when they breathe out. The boiling of water is another way water vapor enters the air. This occurs in our homes when we cook, and also in nature in areas of geothermal activity. So, as you can see, there are many ways water vapor enters the air. Perhaps you've grabbed a cold can of soda and noticed moisture on the surface of the can. You decide, where did the moisture come from? The moisture came from water vapor in the surrounding air. As water vapor cools, water molecules slow down. It's a process we call condensation, and it occurs when water vapor changes phases from a gas to a liquid. Did you know that condensation is what causes clouds to form in the sky? As warm, moisture-rich air rises, the water vapor within it cools. When air cools, it condenses into millions of tiny water droplets, which make up clouds. In some cases, when the temperature in the atmosphere is cold enough, ice crystals form to make up clouds. You've probably taken a walk in the rain, or if you live in a northern climate, you've most likely experienced a snowstorm. Rain and snow are examples of precipitation. In the process of precipitation, water is returned to Earth in the form of rain, snow, sleet, or hail. Precipitation occurs when water droplets, or frozen water in the form of ice or snow, become too numerous and heavy in a cloud, and they fall to Earth. Precipitation is very important because it's the process by which water is returned to Earth. As you probably already know, not all places on Earth receive the same amount or type of precipitation. Deserts, for example, receive much less precipitation than other places, such as forests in eastern North America. But worldwide, the total amount of evaporation and precipitation is balanced. We've just discussed the three main processes in the water cycle: evaporation, condensation, and precipitation. Now let's see how these work together to create a cycle around this forested lake. Water evaporates off the surface of the lake when liquid water changes to water vapor. The plants and animals surrounding the lake also give off water vapor. As air containing water vapor rises, it cools. Water vapor condenses into tiny liquid water droplets or tiny ice crystals. When enough of these gather together, clouds form. You predict what will happen when the water droplets or ice crystals become too heavy and numerous. They eventually fall to Earth in the form of precipitation. Some precipitation falls directly into lakes or other bodies of water, or it falls onto the land. Snow, for example, may accumulate on the forest floor where it stays until it melts in the spring. Rainwater, on the other hand, is absorbed by forest soils, or it flows over the surface as runoff. Water runoff in streams is carried into the lake. Eventually, a river carries water from the lake to the ocean. Notice when arrows are placed on this diagram, the different stages form a circle. This graphic illustrates the water cycle. During the past few minutes, we've discussed some of the important ways that we use water. We saw that the water cycle involves the continual movement of water from sources of liquid water to the air and then back to Earth. The specific parts of the water cycle were explored, including evaporation, condensation, and precipitation. So, the next time you take a drink of water, go swimming, or take a walk in a snowstorm, think about some of the things we've just discussed. You might just think about the water cycle a little differently. Fill in the correct word to complete the sentence. Good luck, and let's get started. Number 1. The water is the continual movement of water between Earth and the air. Number 2. Involves liquid water changing into water vapor. Number 3. Plants give off large amounts of water. Number 4. Clouds form via the process of And number 5. Rain and snow are examples of